Welcome back to the final video in our series exploring the STEEPLE Analysis framework. If you've been following our series, you will have examined the first 6 macro-environmental factors: social, technological, economic, environmental, political, and legal, and seen how they fundamentally shape business strategy, drive innovation, and manage risk. In this video, we'll continue our examination of STEEPLE analysis, and we will focus on the ethical factor within this framework. In a general sense, the ethical component examines the moral principles and standards that guide an organisation's decisions and actions. It's about understanding the expectations society has for businesses and how these influence the way they operate. This includes topics like fair treatment, transparency, social responsibility, environmental ethics, and corporate integrity. These ethical considerations can have a huge impact on things like business practices, brand reputation, stakeholder trust, and ultimately long-term sustainability. In this section, we will look at 5 key ethical considerations that fall under the ethical dimension of a STEEPLE analysis. As with all STEEPLE factors, there are many elements that can be considered, and the 5 we discuss are not limited to the full scope of this dimension. Businesses will choose those ethical elements they feel are most relevant to their industry, operations, and strategic goals. Each represents a critical area where businesses face evolving expectations and consequently significant opportunities and threats. Let's break them down one by one. First, fair trade and ethical sourcing. This area concerns the moral supply chain, ensuring fair wages, safe conditions, and transparency for all suppliers. Opportunities here include boosting brand loyalty and customer trust, since consumers increasingly value ethically sourced products, and stabilising the supply chain by building better supplier relationships. Conversely, the threats are severe: reputational damage from boycotts or negative press due to labour abuses, legal risks from increasing supply chain diligence laws, and potential increased operational costs associated with switching to certified ethical suppliers and rigorous auditing. Next is corporate social responsibility, or CSR. CSR is a company's commitment to contributing positively to society beyond simply making a profit. This presents significant opportunities to achieve market leadership and differentiation and boost employee engagement and productivity. Conversely, the threat for CSR is multifaceted. It involves a massive reputational backlash if claims are deemed insincere, a practice often called ethics washing. Furthermore, there are financial penalties for misallocating resources to ill-conceived projects, leaving the business vulnerable to being surpassed by ethical rivals. The next factor is environmental ethics. This goes beyond legal compliance, focusing on a business's moral duty to minimise its negative impact on the planet. The core opportunities include generating cost savings through energy efficiency and waste reduction, accessing new market segments for sustainable products, and improving regulatory relationships. The threats are clear: legal penalties and fines for environmental non-compliance, exposure to resource scarcity and rising costs of non-renewable materials, and damage to public image leading to consumer and talent boycotts. Next is diversity, equity and inclusion, or DEI. DEI involves actively building a diverse workforce and fostering an inclusive culture where all feel valued and have equitable opportunities. Opportunities are powerful. It acts as an engine for innovation through diverse perspectives, serves as a magnet for top talent, and provides superior market insight when the workforce reflects the customer base. Neglect, however, carries severe threats of costly discrimination lawsuits, a toxic work environment leading to low morale and high turnover, and alienating stakeholders who demand equitable practices. Finally, we have honesty and transparency. This factor mandates open and truthful communication with all stakeholders, including accurate reporting and marketing. The main opportunities are building strong stakeholder trust and loyalty, which secures repeat business and investor confidence, and enhances the company's overall reputation and credibility. The threats are catastrophic. an immediate and irreversible collapse of public trust from misleading information, legal penalties for fraud or deceptive practices, and widespread employee cynicism and disengagement resulting from internal dishonesty. Ultimately, ethical factors are the moral compass of modern strategy. They determine an organization's license to operate and its ability to build sustainable value in the 21st century. Now, let's turn to a practical example to see these factors in action. For those who have seen our previous videos, we are revisiting Roast and Vibe, the fictional specialty coffee shop in Dublin run by a French-Irish couple. Like any business owners, they want to stay informed about changes in the external environment and understand how ethical factors can create both opportunities and threats. Let's explore their findings. Roast and Vibe is already known for its ethically sourced coffee. This creates a great opportunity to deepen those direct trade relationships. By ensuring the highest quality, they can consistently justify their premium pricing and strengthen their brand. However, ethical sourcing always carries a significant threat. These supply chains often involve higher input costs, and if the global coffee market faces disruption, their specific ethical sources can be vulnerable, impacting both cost and supply. Building directly on their ethical sourcing commitment, we now look at the CSR factor, which involves actions in the community. The opportunity for Roast and Vibe here is clear. Successful community engagement builds strong local goodwill and a loyal customer base, which is vital for any neighbourhood cafe. The threat, though, is that the local community pays close attention. Any perceived failure in supporting their local partners or community could instantly damage their brand image and alienate the very customers they rely on for consistent business. Closely related to their community impact is their focus on environmental ethics. Roast and Vibe is dedicated to this, aiming for a 20% waste reduction by 2025 through sustainable practices. This commitment is an excellent opportunity to create a powerful, unique selling point. It directly appeals to their target market of environmentally conscious young professionals and students. But this comes with a threat. High-quality, sustainable materials, like compostable packaging, are often more expensive, which can increase operational costs and directly impact their profit margins. Moving from the environment to the people and the culture inside the cafe, we examine DEI. The very core of Roast and Vibe is a cultural blend co-owned by a French-Irish couple. The opportunity is to leverage this fusion to attract a broad, diverse customer base, including the significant tourist segment seeking that unique experience. The threat lies in execution. If the cultural blend is not harmonised internally, if there are issues in managing diverse staff, or the Irish hospitality isn't authentically delivered, it could lead to internal conflict and a negative customer experience. Finally, tying all these individual ethical factors together is the critical need for honesty and transparency. The opportunity for Roast and Vibe is that by being open about their direct trade sourcing and quality builds deep customer trust and loyalty. This helps them maintain their high service standards and their goal of sustaining a 4.5-star rating. The threat is amplified by their premium status. Any lapse in honesty, for instance, if they were accused of misleading advertising about their ethically sourced coffee, would lead to an immediate and severe reputational collapse because their customers pay a premium based on that ethical promise. Having now seen how these 5 factors play out in a real-world example like in Roast and Vibe, let's now summarise why actively managing this ethical dimension is essential for any modern business's long-term success. First and foremost, ethical factors are essential for building trust with customers. Consumers today are incredibly conscious of the ethical standards behind the products they purchase. By committing to ethical sourcing, CSR, environmental practices, and DEI, Roast and Vibe can immediately differentiate itself from competitors and attract customers who prioritise these values. This is especially relevant in the food and beverage industry, where consumers are more likely to support brands that align with their personal ethics. Furthermore, building on that foundation of customer trust, ethical practices are vital for sustainable business growth. Efforts like sustainability and CSR can drive long-term growth by fostering deep loyalty and repeat business. Customers who trust the brand's ethical stance are far more likely to return, spend more, and recommend the business to others, helping to build a strong community around the cafe. Crucially, this loyalty and long-term growth is reinforced by maintaining a positive reputation. Emphasizing transparency and honesty about practices not only strengthens customer loyalty, but enhances the business's public image. In today's social media-driven world, where experiences are shared instantly, companies that are transparent and authentic build a positive public image. However, this also means that any unethical behaviour or inconsistency with claims could lead to significant and instant backlash. Beyond reputation alone, ethical behaviour is the key for differentiation in a competitive market. As more businesses adopt similar practices, Roast and Vibe can stand out by demonstrating its genuine, deep commitment to these values. Customers will appreciate knowing exactly where their products come from and how they align with sustainable practices, effectively positioning Roast and Vibe to gain a critical competitive advantage. A key component of this competitive strategy involves attracting a broader, diverse customer base. Focusing on DEI makes Roast and Vibe more inclusive and welcoming, helping to attract customers from all backgrounds. Internally, promoting diversity in hiring practices also improves the workplace environment and increases employee satisfaction, which directly leads to better customer service and lower staff turnover rates. In conclusion, aligning with ethical principles provides businesses like Roast and Vibe with the opportunity to create a socially responsible, transparent, and customer-focused business model. By actively addressing potential challenges and continuously reinforcing their commitment to these principles, Roast and Vibe can maintain a positive reputation and ensure long-term success in a competitive marketplace. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into ethical factors. Thank you for joining me through our comprehensive analysis of the STEEPLE framework. As we've seen, mastering these 7 external forces is crucial for making informed business decisions. This video is part of our series on the Business Management Toolkit, which addresses various situational planning and decision-making tools. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.